One of my favorite singers, Kim Burrell, was singing at this place as a tribute to a man who had passed away. And I could tell vocally as she was talking that she was like 70% there. So she looks at the organist and she goes, E flat. And then she does a hum. Then she looks back and she goes, actually, let's try A flat. And then someone said out of nowhere, go ahead and sing. And she looked back and she goes, I know I shouldn't I? But some people just get up and do it. I have to do it how I do it. Then she looked at the crowd and said, can I do it how I do it? And then she said, and A flat doesn't work, but take me to B flat. And then she said, all right. And then she sang and then killed it. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. I mean, smashed it. What I got from that is that Kim Burrell's okay with going at her pace. See, everybody has their own pace, their own flow, the way that they actually do what they do. Let me not just do it just because you're saying to do it, but I'm doing it because in my own nature and in my own innate being and what comes naturally to me, I need to do it exactly how I do it. I like to call that being original. To be original means that you're living without pressure to be someone else. But it's almost impossible not to consider other people, right? Notice I said almost though, because we're seeing people do stuff all the time, similar to what we feel in our hearts to be doing. Like I wanted to be a singer as a kid, so I watched Twinkie Clark, Kim Burrell, Whitney Houston. And it would be easy for me to go to church and sing exactly like them, but I had to find my own voice. That's the difference between being a carbon copy or letting something influence you. You could definitely copy someone. You can copy their style, or you can let it influence you and make it your own. Put your own twist to it. That's because you're walking at your own pace. This whole timing that we live in is crazy. When I grew up in the early 90s, there wasn't all this Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and all kinds of apps, Be Real, everything. There's so much where we're constantly looking at other people. And the only time that we see ourselves is in the morning when we wake up and look in the mirror and brush our teeth. After that, everyone else is watching us from the outside and we're watching them. And immediately you become self-conscious because you don't think that you're amounting to the pace of other people. But that's the danger about living in the pace of other people and not flowing at your own pace. Imagine if Steve Jobs would have looked at Bill Gates and went, I want to be exactly like Bill. I want to create the same product. I want to do the same thing. We wouldn't have Apple, the product, the phone, the earbuds, the Apple Watch. And if Bill Gates did the same thing, we would never have Windows. See, these two things may kind of function similarly, but they also are very different and they appeal to different crowds. And that is okay. Why? Because they're operating and going at their own pace. Some of the greatest singers, Taylor Swift and Beyonce, it's such a big argument. Who's the best? I don't even think they think about that. Why? Because they're going at their own pace. And in Taylor Swift's right, she's great. She packs out stadiums, she shuts down cities, she boosts economies, turned the whole football league around because she started dating a football player. When Beyonce comes into town, she fills stadiums, shuts down the entire city, influences culture, what they're wearing. Now everybody's about to be cowboys this year. Why? Because Beyonce goes at her own pace. And I'm sure that they have their influences. How could you be a pop star and not think about Whitney Houston or Celine Dion as a female and be one of the top selling artists? Immediately in my brain, I would constantly be looking at people who have went before me and done it. The Patti LaBelle's, the Chaka Khans, the Aretha Franklins. That's because greatness also attracts greatness. But as I'm attracted to greatness, the danger I can fall into is repeating what someone else did. Because the reality is, I'll never be them and they'll never be me. So my challenge for all of us today is go at your own pace. Do it how you do it, like Kim Burrell said, and watch. You'll never be a carbon copy, but the ones coming after you will say, I want to be just like. And that is my talk.